affect each one of us as Indians. Because I want us to pay a little attention to Trump's Diwali celebration at the White House. It was complete with lamps, Diyas and desis. It was meant to showcase his love for India and Indian culture. There you can see him lighting a lamp. But the lamp lighting lit up a darker reality. The fact is that Trump's administration has repeatedly painted immigrants as job stealers, especially desis, even legal economic migrants who are on H-1B visas. And this has resulted in the mainstreaming of some of the oldest racist tropes in American history. Sample these nasty comments from Trump's own MAGA supporters, his own vote base, all posted online against Indo-Americans celebrating Diwali. And they don't care whether, viewers, you are a US-born Indian origin desi. They just don't want you to, in their words, viewers. And I can't even begin to tell you what they have said. Get out of my country, go back and worship your sand devils, and so on and so forth. And this was done, viewers, in response to what Kash Patel put out. Poor Vivek Ramaswamy put out a tweet, and he was trolled in the vilest ways. MAGA supporters have mocked Indian customs, circulated xenophobic memes, and insulted leaders like Kash Patel for participating in the festivities. Replying to Kash Patel, one MAGA supporter, and you can see it on your screen, says, "Go back home and worship your sand demons, get out of my country." Replying to Vivek Ramaswamy, one MAGA supporter said, "The Apostle Paul, behind every pagan idol lurks demons. Paul says Saturn masquerades as an angel of light. Hindus say, hold our cow dung. We worship many gods," unquote. Diwali festival lights or Satan's favorite costume? And these are not, viewers, I'm not pulling out some random tweets by some Joe Blows in America. These are very famous MAGA, very big handles, influencers. Trump responds, listens to them. Another says, "Happy Diwali, no thank you. As a Christian, I stand firm. Jesus Christ is the only true light of the world." They're not wrong, viewers. In their worldview, none of this tolerance exists. This wave of hatred threatens to expose the limits of Trump's India-friendly image. Just yesterday, Trump spoke about his affection for India, Indians, and Modi. But these sentiments juxtaposed against the racist taunts of his base questions, viewers, pose a few questions of their own. Is Trump's public embrace of Indian culture skin deep? Is it just an affectation? Has Trump's and his team's gaslighting of desis or Indians in America propagated bigotry against them? Let's open this up. I want us to straight go across to David Sofair, who's a Republican loyalist of the Trump administration. David Sofair? Okay, you're not.
Yes.
You're a Republican strategist.
Great. And thank you very much, and thank you for having me. And I'd like to first start out by saying Happy Diwali to you.
Thank you.
And to all of the viewers. And, we're wishing you guys a very healthy and prosperous time in India and internationally throughout the world. Thank you for having me, and it's great to be here. So we've got a lot to unpack on today's segment, so please, fire away.
Your response to this trolling and the question that I've posed, has Trump normalized through his rhetoric, his gaslighting of immigrants, specifically a very affluent section of immigrants, some of them very legitimate, some of them H-1B visas, saying they've come to steal your jobs, this, that, propagated a backlash?
So let's be clear here. So Trump didn't say any of those things. These are, random people and, private civilians making statements online, in every culture, in every democracy where there's freedom of speech. Unfortunately, and you should know this best because you're also in the public eye, you will have a small percentage of terrible statements and hatred. I get that as a journalist, and so do you. So this is something else. If you look at the tweets, there are many tweets saying Happy Diwali and good things. Of course, there's always going to be some outliers, and that's an unfortunate thing to happen. But that's just the way of the world, isn't it?
Okay, so this is an exception, not the norm. Abhijit
It's not
Iyer
an
Mitra.
exception. I mean, it's just that's how it goes on Twitter or social
This
media.
administration is a
I mean, if
joke.
you look at these people,
Nicholas
these are
J.
not-
Fuentes
these are
says
not
that.
people from the administration saying that.
He's
so
a big name,
let's
big
be clear
influencer.
on that.
Okay, let me bring in Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Is there a reason for us to be a little worried? I'm not here pitching a tent for Indians who have gone and chosen a new country and have decided to establish themselves, but generally speaking, about the closing of the American mind, so to speak.
Not really. Look, I agree with our friend from America out here. There is no movement on earth that doesn't have a whack job fringe. Literally. This is the whack job fringe of MAGA, and it remains just that. It's a whack job fringe. These are not people, don't extrapolate follower count to, influence on policy. I think we need to separate those two. I think Trump has gone out of his way to show inclusivity. And remember, except saying dead economy, has he ever said anything nasty about Hindus and things like that? Has he ever
Well, there was a comment that he made about, and I don't want to use that word, about the country being a certain, he used an epithet and so forth.
Yeah.
But
has he
he kind of stuck by it, and there was a huge back and forth, as you know. And
Okay, that's okay. Well, let's get on with it.
So there is the other issue here, which is what do you do with the fringe and how do you deal with the fringe? Now, unfortunately, in every political movement, the fringe will always be taken along. The left takes it along, the right takes it along. You can't afford to alienate them. Let's be realistic about this. In an optimal world, should all these people be expelled and formally, named, shamed, and kicked out? Yes. Is it actually ever going to happen in any side of the world?
No, but Mr. Mitra, you said that you can't ignore it, you have to take it along. And let me give you an example. One of the first things that Trump did in administration A, when he was the 45th, I think, 45th president, he came out and he said, he came out and said that, look, I'm not going to allow people from a certain minority community to enter the United States. We're going to take away their citizenship rights. We're going to keep them out. I only want certain people from certain countries, the great countries of Northern Western Europe. And he even named that I want the Scandinavians, the beautiful blue-eyed blonde. He sounded like Hitler. Supreme Court had to step in.
No. Look, that was the so-called Muslim ban. He never used the word Muslim himself.
Wow.
And remember, every single country on that list had a very, very problematic history of exporting all kinds of jihadi lunatics all across the globe. Right? Sure. Remember, in India as well, we do have an ethnic basis. A white man, unless he's married to an Indian, cannot claim Indian citizenship. We have a very ethnic basis for that.
We're not talking about citizenship.
Or by property as well. By property, you can't get, so there's a lot of that happening. So, and not to mention tariffs, of course, but let's just stay on topic here,
No, hang on. You see, David Sofair, there's a small problem here. The problem is that in India, now you can argue whether that's right or wrong. We can have that debate. In India, you don't have the absolute freedom of free speech, right, like you have in America. So you can't basically call people racist names. And I'm sure now in America too, there is a degree of criminal liability that you would face if you were outwardly racist. My point is, who is ever going to get booked for all this nonsense? Especially Vivek Ramaswamy is not going to get up and suddenly develop a spine and say, no, actually, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have the cops book you for inviting race tensions, which is, by the way, now a prosecutable crime. So why is that not happening? These are some big names with big followers.
Well, I mean, you have freedom of speech. So again, it all boils down to freedom of speech. Now, again, I disagree with all the statements, obviously, and so does the administration, obviously.
I'm glad. I don't know about the administration. I haven't seen a tweet by Trump to say, pack this up, guys. It's not on my watch.
He can't pack up. I mean, he can't pack up freedom of speech, and internet trolls is going to be a big thing.
Viewers, here is a disconnect.
There's always going to be a small
Fair enough. I understand. That's why I said there is an issue. It is about how you interpret freedom of speech, right? I mean, I think we'll concede that. In America, you have greater allowances, but viewers, if you are racist towards a black minority, you are going to get prosecuted under the law. Here, browns are being ill-treated. they're being trolled. Tomorrow, you've seen the crimes that are being committed against Indians. Tomorrow, this will assume a different threat. It may not be today, it might be incipient, but tomorrow, who knows, viewers? I leave it to this. There are things to ponder.